Welcome back to another snowless week here in the Chamonix region. Indeed, by the time you're all seeing this, it would have been 2 weeks since the end of the last big snowfall. But not only that, it's been 2 weeks of near constant southeast airflow, which means Foehn, Foehn, Foehn. The Foehn winds have really done a number on the snowpack over in Chamonix. There's basically nothing left of the snow that fell 2 weeks ago down in the valley. It's now basically completely dry down there. Even up on the mountain, on the sunny south-facing slopes, the likes of Brevant and Foehn, a lot of that base on the off-piste, which we did finally get back again, has now gone again as well. So yeah, it's not been a good couple of weeks. We are, more generally, still in a cool midwinter air mass, so away from the Chamonix Valley itself, there's still lots of snow cover everywhere. For example, down in Megeve, which is of comparable elevation to Chamonix, the town itself is slightly higher than the town of Chamonix, but not enough to make a difference. It still looks like midwinter. Everything is still completely white. The ground, everything is covered in snow, all the roofs are still covered in snow. But over in the Chamonix Valley, it looks more like late spring. Everything's brown and dirty and horrible. I still have a little bit of snow left in my garden down in Foehn, and La Passy is still mostly frozen. But up in Chamonix, most of the lakes have lost their ice now, and the ground, like I say, all the snow is gone. Most days, it has been significantly warmer in the Chamonix Valley at around 1,000 metres than it is down in Passy and Foehn at around 500 or 600 metres. Because you're just that little bit further away from the Mont Blanc Massif, so you're out of the reach of the Foehn effect. We haven't had any of the really devastating winds that we do sometimes get with the Foehn effect, but it's still been pretty breezy, especially around the Pra at the mouth of the Mer de Glace Valley, and probably similar on Argentière as well, which is where the Foehn effect and the Foehn winds are most pronounced. And up on the hill, especially on the south-facing slopes, again, all the snow's been very reworked by the winds. But it's not all doom and gloom. On-piste conditions are, on the whole, still excellent, especially here in Evasion Mont Blanc, which of course, with Mont Blanc Unlimited Lift Pass, you also have access to. The pistes are firm, but not icy. Absolutely amazing on a pair of stiff carving skis. A lot less enjoyable on a snowboard, but you can still kind of go out and have fun. The home runs down to the bottom of the Princess Gondola base station had been groomed and repaired, and presumably they were open for a few days. They are now officially closed again, and of course this is why it is still skiable. I'm definitely regretting coming down this on my nice piste skis. Despite no snow in nearly 2 weeks, in the off-piste it is still avalanche risk 3. There is still that persistent weak layer buried under the snowpack from last week's snowfall, so yeah, that's definitely worth bearing in mind. As of a couple of days ago at least, it was still possible to ski down to Megeve, to the Jaillet base station from the Combloux ski area. The home run was ungroomed, the snow was too thin to be able to send a piste basher down it, but the run was still officially open. I don't know if that's still the case now, but it's definitely still possible to ski down, even if they have since closed the run. Earlier in the week, we skied the Col de Bugeon, which is one of the more adventurous ski tours that you can do in the Aiguille Rouge. So starting at the Fougères ski area, finishing down in Le Bouet, and then getting the train back. Skiing wise, depending on the build up, there's nothing particularly challenging, but it does require around 50 meters of relatively easy mixed climbing. Again, if you're a mountaineer, it's very, very straightforward. If you're not, it is something you probably want a rope for. On the day when we did it, it was just basically lovely boot steps all the way up, very, very straightforward. But a fall, while it wouldn't be fatal, it could well result in serious injury, so like I say, if you're not an experienced mountaineer, you are probably going to want to be on a rope for it. As for the descent itself, there is a bit of a fixed rope to get you over the worst of it, and you probably could ski from there if you really wanted to. We had one 30-metre rope with us. We did a 15-metre abseil to get over the initial difficulties, but that still then required some exposed, difficult, no-fall zone skiing to get into safety. Two 30-metre ropes will probably get you past all the difficulties. Two 50-metre ropes and you're absolutely past all the difficulties. You're well and truly there on the nice mellow snow from that point onwards. Mid-January. Feels more like April right now. We're absolutely cooking. As for the skiing itself, I had hoped we might be able to find some nice soft snow on the shady north-facing slopes over the back of the Aiguille Rouge, but unfortunately not. Even over there, everything has transformed. It's very crusty, very icy, very cruddy. I actually thought I might have buggered my knee again skiing in the crud. I had a very innocuous, low-speed, gentle fall, but my legs got a bit tangled underneath me and something my knee went crunch. Definitely heard a bit of a pop there, but I appear to have got away with just a sprain. Or perhaps what I think may well what have happened is I have little or no ACL left after my knee injury last year anyway. If you haven't got an ACL, you can't tear one. So perhaps just the last remaining few dead fibres went pop, and that was all that happened. So yeah, it was sore for a couple of days, but I seem to have got away with one there. And on the ski out to Le Bouet, it's possible all the way to the road, all the way to the train without taking your skis off. We skied the right bank of the river, which seemed to be the way that most tracks were going. And it is still very lean, which does make it a lot more difficult. There is a lot more up and down, a few bits of sidestepping, and it is very, very combat, but it is complete all the way down. You can make it all the way without having to take your skis off. We're starting to see a change in the weather, something a little bit more mobile, a little bit more unsettled. I'm not going to see anything particularly transformative in terms of snowfall totals, but we are going to see some snow at the very least. Over the weekend there's going to be a few centimetres, maybe 5 or so, and this is probably the start of the front just approaching right now. And then into next week, maybe something slightly more meaningful on Tuesday and Wednesday, although the forecast models are changing every day. Yet again, the biggest snowfall totals are initially at least going to be felt much further south, so we are missing out. At the very least, this is going to freshen up all the pieces again and make everything look a lot whiter and nicer again. And importantly, it is also staying cold. And with the winds changing to more of a southwesterly, we should also lose the Foehn effect, so that's also great news in terms of Chamonix as well. So don't go expecting any epic powder this coming week, but at the very least we are inching back in the right direction. Another bit of good news is this weather front's moving through should finally start to stir up the pollution down in the Loire Valley, which you can probably still see behind me. It's still pretty soupy down there, not pleasant at all. They finally started to build and shape the fun park here in Saint-Gervais. Last season it looked really good, and so far it looks like they're building something quite similar this year as well, so could well be shaping up to a pretty good park here in probably a week or so's time. They have now finally pushed out all the snow snow on the home run down into Saint-Gervais. It's not yet officially open, but it is now groomed top to bottom and is very much skiable. Usually, they don't officially open it until the start of the holidays in February, which is quite bizarre really. Even when we had a really snowy December, they still don't usually officially open the home run. But yeah, none of that really matters. It's groomed now and it's skiable. So that's just about it from the snow reports for another week. Fingers crossed some of this snow that we are forecast actually materialises. I can therefore be a bit uniformly more positive next week. If you are coming out here anytime soon, then once again I'd highly recommend booking airport transfers with mountain drop-offs. I do receive a very small amount of commission, so you'll be helping out the channel, but most importantly, they are the best company for what most people's needs are. So you can find out more about them from the QR code on the screen here or the link down in the description. But other than that, I'll see you next time. Yeah.